so good you can join us. This is the second time of trying to do Junior Church this way. It's great you can be part of it. I wonder if you can remember last week's memory verse. Have a go for a moment and tell the person who's sitting to your left or to your right. Pause the video because I'm going to tell you what it is. Last week's verse was this: I press on towards the goal to win the prize for which God has called me. I press on, I keep going. I keep going with God to win the prize, which is life with God. Life with God here on earth and life with God in heaven. I press on, I keep going with God. I wonder if you found people who can help you keep going with God over the last week. I wonder if you found stuff online that can help you keep going with God. If you have, then share it with other people. Tell them how you are keeping going with God. Our story this week is a great one. Our story this week is Palm Sunday, when Jesus rides into Jerusalem on a donkey and everyone praises. It's the moment where people sort of catch a little glimpse of God's big plan, because God does have a plan. God does have a plan for their circumstances, and God has a plan for ours as well. Let's hear the story. Let's go to Jerusalem, said Jesus to his friends. I have something important to do there. So they went, and when they could just see the city from a nearby hillside, Jesus said, let's have a parade. Jesus' friends were surprised. A parade? They wondered. Why a parade? But no one said anything because Jesus was already busy giving instructions. I want the two of you to borrow a donkey, he said. Tell the owner I need it. He'll understand. When the two friends returned with the donkey, Jesus hopped onto its back, gently nudged its side, and started down the hill. His friends followed close behind. Hooray for Jesus, they shouted. Jesus is king. Down, down, down they rode towards the city gate. And the closer they got, the more people that joined them. It's Jesus the teacher, someone called. It's Jesus the healer, someone else called. 3 cheers for Jesus, called one and all. Soon there were people everywhere, marching along with the parade and shouting from the roadside. Some took off their coats and laid them in front of the donkey. Others cut palm branches from the trees and waved them about in front of them. There were hundreds, maybe thousands, clapping and dancing and shouting their way through the city gates. Everyone was happy. Well, almost everyone. Some of the religious leaders didn't like Jesus. They were jealous because the ordinary people were so fond of him. And when they saw the parade, they frowned. Wait just a minute, they called. You can't have a parade here. Tell your friends to be quiet, Jesus. But Jesus just laughed. Tell them to be quiet? Impossible. Then he turned to look at the crowd. Can't you see, he said, there's so much happiness here that even if I could make people quiet, the stones in the street would jump up and shout for joy. As Jesus was riding into Jerusalem, God had a plan. God had the plan to rescue the whole of humankind. God had a plan to make people right with God. It was a tricky plan to understand. God had told people about it, but people still didn't understand it. It was like the plan was there, but everyone... Where did this come from? Anyway, but everyone was going around with boxes on their heads. Everyone couldn't quite see properly. So when Jesus was killed by the Romans and died, nobody really understood what was happening. But God had a plan. And when Jesus rose from the dead, everyone started to get it. And everyone started to praise and worship again. This is a great day, Palm Sunday, because people catch hold of a little bit of truth about who Jesus was and celebrate. But now, here where we are, we can see God's big plan. God's big plan that he had in store for us. Jesus rode into Jerusalem on the donkey. Jesus was arrested and crucified and died. But Jesus rose again so we could be friends with God. Exciting news. And remember that. Exciting news. Exciting news. Because of what Jesus did, we can be friends with God. We can be part of God's big story. Okay, moving on. I want you to talk to some people around you this week about this. Ask them how they have trusted God, even when they don't quite understand everything. Ask them, has it been difficult to trust and rely on God, even when you don't quite understand the whole plan? Fantastic. And I have a memory verse for you for this week. A memory verse for this week, and it's a really good one. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 4 to 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3, chapter 3, verses 4 and 5. Remember that for this week, if you can. Remember it, chew it over, have it in your mind. And if you want some activities to do, here's some activities for you. Draw your perfect house. Like, make a plan for your perfect house. A bit like God has a big plan for the world. Make a plan for your house that you might get built one day. Maybe play pin the tail on a donkey, or even make a junk model donkey. Or follow a plan that's on the activity sheet for making chapati. It's sort of naan bread. Follow a plan for that. Okay, I'm going to pray. So let's bow our heads, close our eyes, and we'll have a big amen at the end. Lord God, thank you that you had a big plan for our world. Thank you that you loved us so much that you came into this world that we might have a new relationship with God. Thank you that you had a plan. Amen. Fantastic. So it's quiz time. And if you have people in your lounge or wherever you are with you, then join in with this. It's the first person to shout out the right answer to the questions. First person with the right answer gets the point. Keep score of your own points, and everyone can tell the winner that they're awesome at the end. Last week's memory verse. I press on toward the goal for which God has called me. What's the missing words? I press on towards the goal to win the prize which God has called me. Very good if you got that right. What happened to Stripes this week? Rainbow put a box on his head. Terrible. This week's memory verse. Fill in the blank verse from last week. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And what comes next? If you said lean not on your own understanding, you were right, and you get the point. What is this word backwards? If you got it right, stressed. Very good. What did Jesus ride on? A donkey. Fantastic. Easy one for you there. Who was going to shout if the people didn't? Good answer there. Stones. Who won? Who won this week? Okay. 30-second challenge. 30-second challenge for you to be able to do soon. 30-second challenge is, and I'm not going to do it this week because it could be very messy around here. 30-second challenge is to do 5 bottle flips in 30 seconds. 5 bottle flips in 30 seconds. I'll see if I can do one in the next 10. Oh, so close. Woohoo! Never thought that would happen on camera. Fantastic. I hope you have a good week. And catch up with other people from Earnestry and with your friends and chat to them about how you can keep going with God and how you can do this week's memory verse, actually. Lean on God. Trust him completely. Fantastic. Bye for now.